Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this wonderful Wednesday night on the 23rd of June, 2021, brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs. Maybe you want to decorate other people's homes and make their home the best house on the block, or maybe you want to make your own home the best house on the block. Give them a call either way. 631-957-5106 at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, right on Long Island. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. And then from there, just a short distance away, you can head over to Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, the next town over. At 631-756-1125 is the telephone number. You can go there to get whatever you need to make your yard look great, or you just might need to get some emergency preparedness supplies to have them handy just in case we get a tropical storm or hurricane up the East Coast this season. They got it all there, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. So no mistaking the fact that today was an absolutely gorgeous day. I woke up to 52 this morning. 52, and I had to dig around to find a sweatshirt to take the dog out for a walk, and the high here today was 76, I think, 76.
My God, you were almost like where I was. Now my low this morning was 48.
Oh wow!
And I think we got to 75 this afternoon. Blue skies scattered to very, and I do want to underscore that word, very occasional broken cumulus clouds. It was a picturesque sky out there today, Joe, and it looks like after a nice, cool, and moonlit night tonight, not quite a full moon. Moon officially turns full tomorrow. It looks like another beautiful day coming up for the day tomorrow, and then we start seeing things turn the other direction toward increasing humidity, and the humidity is really going to be here, I think, by the end of the weekend, when we'll be flirting with that 70-degree dew point. So enjoy this while you can.
Mr. Reuben Fairchild is pointing out that the puffy clouds were not forecasted.
Oh, come on.
Would you like
Good Lord.
Would you like a molecular count of the oxygen nitrogen ratio? Anything else that you might need? I mean, we're only here to please.
I want to tell you something. I think I'm going to get a heart attack the one day that Mr. Fairchild actually either compliments a television or radio weathercaster, or actually has something positive to say. It just amazes me. Just amazes. And he is the only one. Lonnie Quinn today on one of his weathercasts said he looked at Maurice Dubois, the news anchor at CBS2, and said, I doubt very much if anybody could have anything negative to say about a day like today.
Yeah.
I said,
Hello?
He obviously... I said, he obviously never met Mr. Reuben Fairchild.
Do me a favor. Remind me to send a message to Sal Blandino and tell him that he's welcomed on this show anytime he likes. He's honest. I will call him on the phone. I will go to his house and spend time with him if that's the.
I would say, if I were face to face with Mr. Reuben Fairchild, I would look at him and say, Will Rogers never met you, did he? Look it up.
Yes. Look it up.
Will Rogers. Look up what that means.
Yeah. Look, if you're going to be
all right, let's move.
Yes. I'll just say one more thing. If you're going to be a miserable little turnip like this for the next 20 or 30 or 40 years, you're going to be a really unhappy person, because no one's going to want to be anywhere within 500 miles of you. All right. So now that I've made that very clear,
Chuck Chuck Cordillo on the chat board says, Mr. Ruben Fairchild, the hell with the 4th of July. Let's get the Christmas outlook.
Yeah, exactly. And Chuck, for you, you'll be under about 2 feet of snow cover up on 3,000 feet anyway. So that,
Right.
that's an easy one for you up where you are at the
Yes.
Catskills. Okay, so on that wonderful note, let us proceed. And I was going to start with uh, the U.S. Map of watches and warnings tonight, particularly because we've been talking about this. We were talking about this heat wave last week that was going on in the Southwest, and now, of course, it's pushed up. It's going to be pushing up into the Northwest, and you got a lot of areas: Northern California, Northwestern Nevada, points northward through Oregon, Washington, into Western Montana and Idaho, and there'll probably be some more counties added to this. They were already. Have the excessive heat watch. Joe and I noted yesterday that it's unusual for somebody to put up a watch for something 4 days out, but it's pretty obvious as to what's going to happen there. And of course, if you're going to see temperatures go up over 100 in this part of the country, it's problematic. It's going to put a lot of stress on the power. There's already a lot of that area is under a drought, so this is not what we would call good timing. Now, there are some flash flood watches up in northern Missouri and some severe weather tonight in Nebraska. That's where the bulk of the severe weather tonight is going to be is in the Central Plains, where the Storm Prediction Center has an enhanced risk of severe weather in that zone. So just pull the map back up here, and this is for day one. So they actually have marginal to slight to enhance, snaking down from southeast Montana into northeastern Wyoming, and then across into Nebraska and southern South Dakota, northern Kansas, necking into northwest Missouri and western Iowa. Also a separate area of marginal to slight risk up in Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. For tomorrow, we're going to expand the area in the Central Plains and push it eastward, and then stretch it northward to add the upper Mississippi Valley and the western lakes in a rather large area of slight risk and a small area of enhanced there in central Mizzou. And on day 3, we've got, here we go, come on, there we go, marginal risk in pretty much the same area, although it does push east into Illinois, Indiana, and southern Michigan. I'm going to look at the day 4 through 8 outlook just for laughs. I'm thinking they probably have predictability too low for every day. So day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8. Okay, good. So I predicted that they would have predictability too low, and it was correct. Isn't that fabulous?
But we do have for Saturday, if I think I saw this right, day 3, there is general thunderstorm coverage in the immediate vicinity of the tri-state area on Saturday. But we're talking about the stray pop-up cell here and there. But
same for Sunday too.
If you're playing anything for Saturday, if you're playing anything for Saturday or Sunday, go ahead and do it. Just watch the sky. You might see something rumble about. Probably later in the day, but most, if not all of the day, for most areas will probably end up being dry for the most part. I used the word most 4 times in that sentence. By the way.
Yes, you mostly did. Dry clear on the satellite from Maine to Georgia, except for southern Georgia, northern Florida. A lot of rain again in Florida today because, well, when you got a deep trough like this in the east, the frontal boundaries are all way to the south, and they're running right along the immediate Gulf Coast, which is where you're seeing a lot of the shower and thunderstorm development from southeast Texas straight across northern Florida and then extending south over the Sunshine State, which looks like it was anything but sunshine for today. And they'll be getting more of this for tomorrow. Also, the cold front that moved offshore yesterday, if you notice, the clouds are not really moving to the east anymore. And this stalled frontal boundary is going to spin up a little weak low tomorrow night. That's going to meander its way northward on Friday, early Friday, it could bring. I thought, Joe, it could bring a little bit of cloud cover tomorrow night and maybe a stray shower or sprinkle along, uh, scattered along the coast of Long Island and southern New England for a very short time. But the low is going to just fall apart because the surface high is going to build right back to the west starting late Thursday night and going right into the weekend. So it'll just disappear. But I just find it kind of interesting that we've had already two tropical storms spin up out of old frontal boundaries. I'm going to just bring us up full screen for a minute. I find it interesting that we had two tropical storms already, Anna and Bill, spin up out of old frontal boundaries or an upper low that was straight off the East Coast. In the case of Anna, we can argue whether they would have made Anna a tropical storm, but that's a conversation for another day. But my point is that it's kind of interesting to see these little lows just sort of spin up out of old frontal boundaries. I don't know. Maybe that's the sign of the kind of season it's going to be if we keep getting these troughs along the East Coast. And who knows down the road, maybe one of them might spin up into something more important. But this one is just going to be a little, it's a little low in an inverted trough and the high that's kind of enveloped around it. So nothing's going to come of this. It's just more of a nuisance than anything else.
I came across today, speaking of tropical activity, Joe, while I was, spending a little time on YouTube, I came across, and it runs for about 7 or 8 minutes. I'm going to put the link. I'll at least put the URL up on the chat board if anybody cares to look at this. Somebody actually made a projection, an animation with appropriate music as the background, no narration whatsoever, of the forecast, this person's forecast for the 2021 hurricane season. He's already wrong, by the way, as far as where the sea storm would end up. He didn't have the Claudette forming until right about now, actually, and of course Claudette is long gone. But I think it would be amusing if you wanted to see this person where he had projected all of the tropical systems out from now until October, each one having a name, giving each one, along the path. They actually categorizes whether or not it turns into a major hurricane or drops back to becoming a tropical depression or whatever. I mean, it's in its own right absurd, but again, you can't help but not watch it. So if you want to see this guy's projection for the next several months as to not only where each storm is going to go, but also their intensity, their strength. I put it up on the chat board there, the URL.
Okay.
You could take a look and see what this person went with. Kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
And Mr. Reuben Fairchild, yes, I do remember, and Joe remembers very well, Hurricane Agnes, June 21st, 1972. And what made it so special? It was a storm that actually was just shy of a Category 1 hurricane that made landfall, I believe, I forget where, but somewhere along the south coast of Long Island. And then it moved inland and pretty much slowed down and brought devastating rain, tremendous amounts of rain to portions of Pennsylvania, especially. It was really a remarkable.
Yeah, I think
system.
the 24-hour rainfall record in PA is something like 19 inches, and that was from Hurricane Agnes. I think that still stands. Somehow in the back of my mind, that statistic was relevant in the last couple of years for something that might have happened in Pennsylvania. I don't know why it's kind of coming to the forefront of my thoughts at the moment. So maybe I'm thinking about some kind of big rain event that number became an issue, that it was talked about. I memories of the fact that it seemed like it was raining for days and days and days from that.
Right.
Because there was it was complicated. There was an upper low and there was a frontal boundary, and Agnes kind of moved up north and then hooked back west into the upper low, and It is it's retired. The name is retired for a reason. It really was one for the history books, particularly because it was so early in the season. And as I remember that particular year, there weren't that many. I think it was a subnormal year overall in terms of the number of storms. In 70, was
Right,
it 72?
right. We didn't have too many back in the early and mid 70s. An event if we had more than like say, 5 or 6 storms. Of course, I remember in '76 we had Bell, which made a direct hit on Long Island, and that didn't happen until like the middle part of August. So,
Yeah.
back then the hurricane season was, or the tropical storm season was a lot more mellow as compared to now, where we seem to get already like 5 storms before the end of the middle part of July.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
they're naming every swirl that's out there. So
right.
all right. Well, we'll leave that we'll let that editorial comment there just hang. Meanwhile, on the radar tonight, obviously quiet here in the Northeast. It's unusual. You'd think you'd see some showers and storms somewhere from Maine to Georgia, but it's bone dry. But again, that frontal boundary lying across southern Georgia means that Florida is getting another day. This is the third day in a row where we're seeing lots of shower and thunderstorm activity from north to south. And when it's not doing that, it's just cloudy. I guess the only upside to the folks who live down there this time of year, where they wake up with lows down in the mid 70s and temperatures up at 90 or better, that the clouds and rain at least knocks the temperatures down a bit during the afternoon. Otherwise, even across the interior part of the Gulf Coast, very quiet. A couple of light showers showing up in parts of Ohio and on the shores of Lake Michigan coming into the Upper Peninsula. We'll swing over to the area where we're seeing the enhanced risk. And this is going to start to pick up some as we go into tonight. You're seeing a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment in north central Nebraska. It's another day where we're seeing pockets of showers in the southwest, which is good news since they would like to, see some rain here, especially after the heat and the drought that continues. But we're seeing a lot of scattered shower and thunderstorm activity in the southwest and also up through the Rockies. You have this upper low that's off the coast of California, and that is feeding in some subtropical moisture south of Baja California into the southwest. So, as far as rainfall is concerned here for the next 7 days, WPC, you got to go west of the Pennsylvania-New Jersey state line to start finding rain that's significant, and then up the Hudson Valley, the upper Hudson Valley into Vermont and New Hampshire. We're seeing 1 inch plus rains, and then those rains get into big amounts in parts of Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Missouri, a large area of 3 to 5 inches. Because if we're going to have a slow-moving cold front to our northwest early next week, the folks near that frontal boundary are going to get clobbered with rain. So it pretty much runs from the southern plains all the way up into southeastern Canada. Florida getting its fair share of rain too. The west coast is dry. The coastal part of most of California, but the further east you go, you start to get into scattered shower activity. But it's mostly dry up and down the west coast. Of course, we're talking about a heat wave for the northwest, and they're going to
And
experience.
what a heat wave.
Yes,
I mean, we're talking about like triple digits.
yeah, when it goes over 100 up there, that's not good. Okay, that's just not good. That's a real problem for them. I mean, it's a problem when it happens in the Northeast, but you know, but in the Northwest, it's a particular problem because that's not an area that you see temperatures that extreme that often.
Yes, and well, I know San Francisco. Somebody told me that very few homes in San Francisco are air conditioned because they're usually air cooled off of the bay. But I'm not sure about Seattle. I will tell you this, Joe, and I've been to Seattle, and one of the main attractions in Seattle is a place where you go. I think it's down in the market area where you go there and they actually throw fish at you. There's a They actually they're guys there
Yes, I
who
know.
reached it.
I've seen this. I've seen this.
I mean, it's a strange town. Another attraction there is the gum wall, where there's one gigantic wall, and it's just filled with gum, chewed gum. People chew the gum, they stick the gum on the wall, and that's another attraction. This gives you an idea of what kind of city Seattle is. But you can go down to this market, and we were there when we were there about 5 years ago, and they throw fish across one side of the room to another. Now I'm saying to myself, would you like to be in that particular place, let's say Sunday or Monday of next week when the
No.
temperature is like 98 degrees?
Ew. No, not at all. So I took my little finger
Woo!
Crayola on the GFS for tomorrow morning. And what's happening is you got this high that's moving out to the east, and we're going to be getting the wind going around more to the east tomorrow, but there still should be enough dry air to make for a nice day. But you see how the isobar is just kind of curved there offshore, and there's a little closed isobar underneath that, the middle one. That is an inverted. That's a low in an inverted trough, and
Right.
which is take a trough. You normally see the trough kind of axis. I'll just draw it again. But normally, when we talk about troughs in the upper atmosphere, they kind of look like this. Well, an inverted trough is the same thing, only it's upside down. Okay, and your lowest pressure is to the south, whereas on those upper troughs, usually these upper troughs, the lowest pressure is to the north. But my point is, it does force some moisture to develop, and you can see how the GFS has it there offshore, and then it just kind of tries to throw it back near the coast tomorrow night. It's so weak. Uh, if this were late August or September, I'm sure the Hurricane Center would probably be talking about this, but the water temperatures are still pretty cold east of the Delaware coast and south of Long Island, so nothing's going to come out of this, obviously. But it's more of a nuisance than anything else for Thursday night into the first part of Friday. You see how the model just kind of throws back a little moisture there, and then it's gone. It just disappears because the high offshore
Right.
just takes over. And that's going to keep us, that's going to start sending us into a very warm and humid air mass for Saturday. There are your pop ups there inland on Saturday. And then on Sunday, there are your pop ups again. And on Monday, now, Joe, the only thing I did notice when we were on a couple of days ago talking about next week, the GFS was not bringing a cold front anywhere close until late next Thursday or Friday. And
Right.
and as we've gotten over the last couple of days, the front gets a little bit further east on each run, so that actually by Monday afternoon, there's a little hanging cold front, this is why you got to be really careful when you look at some of these model runs as far as the long range is concerned, because they seem to do this a lot, where they show in the late in the latter part of the spring and into the summer, where you think it's going to be a high off the coast and a southwest wind forever, and it looks like the front never gets here, and then all of a sudden you got one that's close. Now, this is for Monday evening, and they got a little weak front there up in western New York, and let me get rid of this, and then as we move through, it just inches a little closer on Tuesday, and it kind of inches through here. Now it's got a front that's kind of sitting on top of us for Wednesday and Thursday, stalled out. So it's always so tricky with these things. At least I think it's fair to say that we're going to see very warm and humid conditions into the start of next week, and we're going to have to watch to see how these frontal boundaries, if they do wind up getting close enough that maybe by the middle part of next week we'll have to introduce some showers and storms, maybe as early as late Tuesday, at least near the coastal plain. They'll happen inland
Right.
on Monday, but maybe
Right.
Tuesday along the coastal plain, and then hanging around for the rest of the week. Go figure.
Right. Right. And up until then, really, aside from that little wave off the coast, which may throw a few clouds and maybe a spot shower or two in the general vicinity in the next day or two, and again, the pop up thunderstorm threat maybe for Sunday late or Saturday late. What you just spoke about for early next week is really the first real threat or risk of anything more significant in terms of precipitation around here. So till then, I think it's going to be just fairly dry. And the only noticeable change is going to be in terms of the dew point temperatures and the humidity. I mean, today, my goodness, it was in the low 40s. And again, 60-degree dew points are not overly muggy. I mean, that's when you start talking about mugginess, but it's going to feel more muggy than it might otherwise feel because we become so acclimated. Both you and I, actually. This is so funny. You're down in Georgia, of all places. I'm up here in Putnam County, New York, and yet the two of us are experiencing the same type of air mass with the same type of dew points. And I guess for the two of us, it's going to feel quite a bit more muggy around here when we get to Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, it is kind of weird. Same thing happened last week. Again, whenever you get these long waves, I participate. So I'm happy. Meanwhile, look at this. Look at the upper high up in the Pacific Northwest. That's almost a 600 high. You don't see 600 highs too often.
That's why when you get 600 heights on the 500 millibar, not too far away are those triple-digit temperatures. And my goodness, that is really something for the poor folks who live in the Pacific Northwest, which are not accustomed to seeing this type of situation.
Yeah, big ridge, very strong ridge here. A not as strong ridge off off New England, which is keeping us very warm and humid. And then you've got a trough that's right down in the middle. And we were talking yesterday about the fact that troughs that dropping down in that part of the country probably going to mean continued severe weather risk for the northern and central plains and maybe even into the upper Mississippi Valley and western lakes through the weekend and into next week, which kind of explains why WPC has all the precip that they have. That upper high, by the way, I've rolled it to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. Friday, July 2nd, is still out there. It's not. It weakens a little bit at the end of the week, but it's still there. Meanwhile, a trough drops into the eastern part of the United States at the end of next week. It's amazing how we keep getting these troughs in the eastern part of the U.S., Joe.
Yeah.
And it's been very persistent. I don't know if the Climate Prediction Center folks have been really paying attention to what's been going on this month, but it looks like it wants to continue. I mean, look at this. Here we go again. I mean, if this is right, I mean, I know it's day 10, and it's probably not going to be right in terms of the depth, but you got westerlies down into northern Georgia again. This is Friday, July 2nd.
Right.
Then that lifts out. I suppose if this is correct, much of the 4th of July weekend should be okay. There's a little short wave that comes through on Monday night, that goes across southeastern Canada. I don't know what the surface looks like, but the upper air pattern would suggest that the 4th of July weekend, and maybe some action on Friday, the 2nd, getaway day with a cold front, and then I would say Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even into Monday look okay.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I mean, Mr. Ruben Fairchild points out we were wrong for Memorial Day weekend, so maybe we'll be wrong for the 4th of July weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
He apparently...
I'm trying to figure out what he meant. I'm trying to figure out what he said on the chat board, because I mentioned that I'd been to Seattle, and he said here on the chat board, did I ever FO on the Space Needle?
What's FO mean?
I don't know. I there was one guess in my mind.
Yeah, I know. I probably had the same guess. I don't think he meant that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Rogers.
Some others.
Bill Rogers. When we say a 600 high, so when you look at an upper air map like this one, you see these 3-digit numbers on there, like a 588, 585, 582. Add a 0 to that. So it's really 600 actually means 6,000. Okay, and that's how far up you have to go up into the atmosphere in meters, 6,000 meters, in order to achieve a pressure, to get to the pressure of 500 millibars. So a 600 high in the upper atmosphere is a very, very strong high. I mean, you only see highs that strong. If you're going to see them, you're going to see uh, in the summertime. You don't see highs that strong in the wintertime or in the spring. It's only in the summer. So
Oh wait,
when you
and
see them,
my
you bait.
wife now my wife on the chat board says he meant go, not foe.
Okay.
And I could see if he mistyped by one finger, the F is next to the G. So yes, I did. Yes, I have.
That was
I
one
did
vowel.
go to the Space Needle.
That was one vowel away from disaster.
Well, it's like that line in The Odd Couple when he said when Felix when Oscar said that you left a note for me. He said something about blankety blank fu. It took
Mm-hmm.
me 4 hours to realize that fu stood for Felix Unger.
Okay, the Hurricane Center is still talking about whatever's there east of the Windward Islands with a 10% chance of development because the upper air winds are unfavorable. And they've marked off something that's just about getting ready to move off the African coast, uh, and talking about the fact that there is a chance that there could be some development of this uh, as it moves westward, although ocean water temperatures there are not, they're really only kind of marginal at the moment, but they got a 30%
Right.
chance in the next 5 days. I'm not, I'm not going to waste my time and waste our time in looking at that. It's
Don't
too,
hold your
don't
don't
hold your
hold your
breath.
breath.
Okay. So, and also do not hold your breath continuing with regards to occasional. I know the European today on the weeklies apparently is showing some sort of big cyclone uh, in the Caribbean for late next week for the over the 4th of July weekend. I'm not going to go down that particular road. It doesn't do anybody any good at this point. So let's do Briller Jeopardy. And everybody say hi to Mother
Oh,
Briller. We hope you're doing well. Um, yeah, Johnny Quest just
so this is
messaged me. He says if you go to the Mount Rainier, where it's 12,000 feet up, that's a good thing to do. Let me see if I'll pull up their forecast. Let's see, weather.gov. Although their forecast, the little search box hasn't worked lately unless you put a zip code. I don't know what the zip code is for Mount Rainier because nothing's coming up. Oh, here we go. RANIER. No results. Okay. MTRANIER. Rainier West Mobile Home Park in Washington State.
20712, Joe.
Thank you. All right, hold on a second. I got the mobile home park there.
Okay.
Okay, so this is for no, but then Tacoma Airport comes up where the elevation is 322 feet. Give me that zip code again.
I just, I just got rid of it.
Oh no,
I figured you had it.
20712.
20712. Right.
Christinapedia just put it up on the chat board. Bless your heart. Okay, so that's Mount Rainier, Maryland. No. Why? It's giving me all these
Is it Mount
choices.
Rainier, Maryland?
Yes.
I didn't know there was a. I didn't know
It's
there
giving me
was a
Mount
Mount Rainier,
Rainier.
Maryland.
It's giving me Mount Rainier, Maryland, Brentwood, Maryland, Chilham, Maryland, Mount Rainier, Maryland again, and Washington, D.C. Okay, so let me try this. Let's try something else. Mount Rainier, Washington, zip code. I mean, I don't even know. Does anybody live up there? It's 98576 is the zip code. Maybe the Spiegel Catalog Company should move over there.
60609.
Will become 98576. What do you think?
Oh.
All right, let me see what they got for a forecast. Johnny Quest, you see what you've started now? All right, here we go. Rainier, Washington. Yeah, you know what though? It's giving me it's giving me something where the thermometer is at 283 feet. So no,
You want the summit.
I want the summit. Okay, I want somebody to go up there with a thermometer and actually physically take the temperature. And yeah, at 200, down at the bottom of the mountain, it's going to go up to 104 on Sunday, 101 on Monday, and 99 on Saturday. Yeah, I can't seem to find the top of the mountain.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, here, I just found something. Mount Rainier Weather Forecast, United States. Updated, issued 10 a.m. Wednesday, 23 June, local time. And I suppose this is for the summit because they have the information like mountain info, climbing notes, and they have mile per hour, high temperature Fahrenheit. High temperature Fahrenheit, Joe, they've got temperatures Thursday, 32, 34. This has got to be the summit. This has got to be the summit.
Oh,
Friday,
okay.
they have a high of 39.
Okay.
Saturday, it goes all the way up to 43. Sunday, the high is 46. And on Monday, they go to a blistering high of 48.
Oh my. They actually get to take their coats off.
Yeah, consider it yesterday, according to this forecast. Yesterday, the high was today the high was 30.
Oh. Wow. Well, we know it's going to burn up there.
Oh. So do you want me to hold that up to the camera? Yeah. Joe.
Yes.
I want to hold something up to the camera. And see if you can. Oh,
back off a little.
It changed.
I did see a group picture of some sort.
Hold on. You know, these iPads, they're like toys.
Yes.
How about if I do this? Let me do this.
Now, let me back up. There we go. Can you see that?
Well,
That's from the Space Needle.
Wait a minute.
Oh, okay. I see a group of youngins. Oh no, those I see now. Okay, yeah, you're coming into focus now. Oh, very cool. Very nice. Where is this Space
So
Needle?
there you go. Seattle.
Oh, okay. When you were in Seattle. Oh, wow. I've never been up to the Pacific Northwest. I've gone as far north as Northern California.
Years ago.
Well, there you go. Hi, everybody.
Yes.
How are you?
All right, let's do a little Briller Jeopardy here and
Yes.
get the show on the road. So we are, it's TV show debuts for you, Joe. 3 years to get credit. 8 out of 10 gets you the choice of the, one of the 3 doors that Carol Merrill is standing in front of. So let's start with That Girl.
That girl changed. They changed their theme song in the final year when Anne Marie, the title character, played by Marlo Thomas, was engaged to Donald Hollinger.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe That Girl debuted in 1966.
That's correct. The movie from which this TV show was created from was actually on Turner
MASH?
was actually on Turner Classic
okay.
Movies the other night, and The Courtship of Eddie's Father.
Oh, I remember,
Yeah, Glenn Ford,
Bill Bixby, right?
Glenn Ford played in the movie, and Ronnie Howard played Eddie in that.
Wow. 1970. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to go with a midway answer here. I'll say 1972.
Well, you got it within 3. Had you gone any further, 1969 was the Courtship.
69.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes, Lassie.
Well, now, is this Lassie, or is it Jeff's Collie? I mean, do you want the way back, the absolute original?
No, it's
when Lassie debuted, or do you want to have it?
It's Lassie.
All right. Well, I know Jeff's Collie probably debuted about 1955 or 56, and then Jeff left, and then came Timmy.
I'll take that.
And then they had to find.
I'll take that as the answer, 1955, because it's 1954. So I guess it did include
Okay.
Jeff's colleague. Okay. Rowan and Martin's Laughing.
1960. 67.
On the nose, Lou Grant.
That debuted after Mary Tyler Moore went off the air, and I think Mary Tyler Moore went off the air in 77. So I'll say 77.
On the nose again, The Waltons.
Waltons was debuted as a movie, actually. Some of the cast members that ended up on the TV show were not in the original or the pilot. I think it was 1970 or 72.
On the nose again, Bewitched.
Bewitched was actually in black and white initially, so it must have been around 1960. Let's see. I'm going to say 65.
64. 64. That's still very good. My Three Sons.
59.
60.
60.
And the last
with
one.
William Frawley, by the way.
Yes, William Frawley for 5 years, and then William Demarest after that.
Right.
And the last one was Gilligan's Island.
Okay. I'm going to say 64.
64 on the nose. So you did what? You got all 10. So which door would you like? Wait a minute. Hold on. Just a moment. Let me see something here. Come on. Okay. All right, hang on. Oh,
Bill Rogers, how could you have not warmed up to the Waltons? The Waltons were a great family. I got to tell you something. The hot TV show. Oh, there she is.
Yes. Well, pick your door first while Carol Merrill is up on the screen. And the silver tea set from the Michael C. Fina Company.
C. Fina Company. Yes.
What door?
I'm going to take door number 1.
Okay, you'll take number 1. So, Carol, we'll retire Carol now. And go ahead. You were talking about Bill Rogers and the Waltons.
No, and I think you remember, Joe, the hot TV show on Thursday evenings was the Flip Wilson show.
Yes.
Everybody watched Flip Wilson. He was like a blazing meteor because he blazed across the television sky. But as soon as the Waltons, a homespun, good old-fashioned, down-to-earth program was put up, everybody said the same thing. Oh, the Flip Wilson will knock the Waltons right off. The Waltons won't last more than 3 weeks or whatever against Flip Wilson. Well, guess what? Flip Wilson was a bit of very fast, and not so fond to do after the Waltons were put up against him in the early 70s. And the Waltons lasted a good number of years. I think like 7, 8, 9 years.
Yes, they did. Michael Lerner took over. Patricia Neal played the mother in the pilot quote TV movie or whatever it was, and then
and you know who played Grandpa, who was a very, very famous radio performer in the 1940s and 50s. It was ventriloquist Edgar Bergen.
Oh,
Edgar
right,
Bergen,
yes.
Charlie McCarthy. He was the grandfather in the pilot episode, but whether or not he decided to stay with that role or whether or not he was not up to snuff to play it on a more continuous basis, but he was very quickly replaced by Will Geer, and who played the grandfather. And Will Geer, by the way, was a victim of the blacklist.
Yes,
he was blacklisted back in the 1950s. What can I say?
And Edgar Bergen was Candice Bergen's father.
That's right.
And also,
that's absolutely right.
He is in one of my favorite movies, one of my all-time favorite movies that I try to catch whenever it's on. Irene Dunn in I Remember Mama. And Ellen Corby And Ellen Corby is in that movie. She got a supporting actress Oscar nomination for her role as Trina.
And did you know that Ellen Corby was also in the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes.
When they had the bank run and people ran to the bank to take their money out of the Bailey Building and Loan, and Jimmy Stewart was like begging them all, please keep your money in here, because if we don't keep this place open, Potter is going to take over the town. And this one guy is like arguing with Jimmy Stewart. He says, I want my $238, which was a tremendous amount to give out. And then finally others started to say something like, I'll take $10, I'll take 15. And Ellen Corby, when Jimmy Stewart gets to Ellen Corby actually ad-libbed her line.
Yes,
she said, "Can I have $12? Can I have $12.96?" And Jimmy Stewart like gave her a big kiss.
Yeah, she ad-libbed that and it worked brilliantly. It was not that was not planned.
And Ellen Corby had a stroke during the run of the Waltons, and they just ran a couple of weeks ago the episode where Ellen Corby returns to the cast of the Waltons after she had the stroke in real life, and they wrote the stroke in to the script in the Waltons, and she was unable to communicate all through the course of the show, and she was upset that the people were treating her with kindness, smothering her with kindness, which is something that Grandma on the Walton was not accustomed to.
Right.
And finally, at the end of the episode, when Grandpa Will Geer realizes that the reason why she's like that in her post-stroke syndrome was that we were treating her with kindness. That's when he tells Ellen Corby, or Grandma, he says, "Get up, old woman, get up and out of there," and it starts insulting her, like as was the case through most of the run of the series. They always used to go at each other,
right?
And that's when Ellen Corby takes a broom and swats Will Geer in the fanny with the broom, and he said, "You've returned, Ma, you're back." and they hug. And then for the first time in that episode, and it almost brought tears to my eyes, you hear Ellen Corby, strain out, "You old fool."
She was also she was also in an episode of I Love Lucy. The one with the one with Orson Welles.
Oh, was she the one who played her teacher?
Her teacher, yes.
Play teacher.
I forgot. I forgot the name of the character. I can hear Lucille Ball's line where she says, "I'm not going to disappoint, Miss," and I can't remember the name of the teacher's name.
And then when she's doing the magic act with Orson Welles, and she's supposedly in a trance, and all of a sudden she says, "Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" You see the close up of Ellen Corby in the audience saying,
"Project." Yes, project.
Right? Project.
Well, you took door number 1. Let us tell you what was behind door number 3, which is 100 boxes of angel hair pasta.
Oh, I love.
Now you could have had. Imagine the fun you could have had with these, Joe. Behind door number 2, a sheep, a horse, and a lamb.
All right.
Imagine having them in the room with the lights turned down. Now behind door number 1, a lifetime post as the lead professor of astronomy at Harvard University. That's what you've won.
Oh boy, at Harvard, that's pretty damn good.
It is good.
That's an Ivy League school.
I know it is. You still might prefer you still might prefer the sheep, the horse, and the lamb, but no matter.
And Mr. Fairchild says they don't watch anything modern.
No, I am now. This is getting close. I'm waiting for Ozark to come back. The final season of Ozark, which I loved. It was just terrific. I am watching. I'm in season 6 of Star Trek Voyager. Okay, there were 7 seasons of that. I'm now in episode 6 of season 6. So if we can call that modern, quote unquote, because the rest of the stuff that's on TV, a lot of the stuff that's on TV now is crap anyway. So, anyhow.
Mr. Reuben Fairchild would not like would not like ABC's TV lineup tonight, which contains all old-time TV game shows, including Press Your Luck and the $100,000 Pyramid.
They're so desperate for original programming because it's all on
They're
Amazon. It's all on Amazon Prime, and it's all on Netflix, and anyone of a bunch of other channels that people are streaming because nobody watches network television anymore.
They were so bereft for ideas, Joe, last week. 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times ABC during the course of a primetime week played the same program, Celebrity Dating Game, with, and I forget, her last name was Brown. She was a former Miss USA.
I watched it for like 5 seconds. 5 seconds as I was flipping channels. I was like, what is this crap? And then I just moved on. Chuck Cardillo says he wishes they would bring back Lost in Space. I will tell you, though, I'm enjoying Star Trek Voyager because it's actually it's Star Trek. If you're a Star Trek fan, I'm guessing that you probably original Star Trek fan, or if you're a Trekkie, you probably followed all the series if that's the case. But there's a little Lost in Space in it in Voyager. They get campy sometimes. They don't. There are times when the shows are actually kind of funny. They don't take themselves very seriously. So which makes me like the show even more. And there's some pretty good characters on there. So if you want to, instead of waiting for them to bring, they have Lost in Space, I think is on, the remake of Lost in Space is on Netflix, I believe. But if you want to watch Star Trek Voyager, I think you would enjoy it. If you like Lost in Space, I think you would actually enjoy Star Trek Voyager.
Well, you can watch. You have to stay up until like 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. But if you like the original Lost in Space, it's on MeTV, and there are only 3 seasons of it. But if you want to see and the first season was in black and white, so if you want to see the original Lost in Space with Jonathan Harris as the special guest star, you can watch it on MeTV on late Saturday night.
Just
Sunday
take me
morning.
to the episode with Walter Brennan as the giant carrot. Remember?
Then they still talk about that. That was the absolutely worst Lost in Space episode.
It really was.
Didn't Dr. Smith turned into a broccoli or a
something like that? Yes. Yeah, and they were picked up for a 4th season, but they in those days they had to send it by letter, and they got the wrong letter, was sent for a different show that told them they were canceled. So they tore the sets down, and everybody within a week they all had jobs, and then they realized that CBS said, no, we didn't cancel you. We renewed you for another year. And they said, and Irwin Allen said, well, it's too late because everybody's gone and we tore the sets down, and that's the end of that. So.
And that's that. And by the way, all of these game shows that are on tonight, I mean, somebody posted on the chat board, they're new versions of old game shows. And I said to myself, well, why can't they bring back some of the old hosts, like Bob Eubanks, for example? But then I came to realize, I just looked on Wikipedia, Bob Eubanks was born in 1938. So that means that if Bob Eubanks would have hosted a show, he'd be 94 years old. So I don't think that would work.
By the way, do you know who turns 91 this year?
No, who?
Barbara Eden.
Barbara Eden turns 91.
90 or 90, 90 or I think maybe 90. She was born in 1931. So 90. She and
Dawn Wells, of course, Dawn Wells passed. She was Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island, but she and Dawn Wells have held up rather well in their late years. I cannot say the same for Tina Louise, though.
Good Lord. I used to see her from time to time when I worked at Pix, because she lived right near there. I used to pass her by on the street.
Who, Tina Louise?
Yeah, because she did a lot of Broadway. So, I would see her after the early show. I would go out for dinner, and she'd be coming out of her apartment and then, heading toward Broadway to do whatever show she was doing. And I would occasionally pass her by on the street. That was pretty. I never spoke to her, but we all knew it was her.
Mr. Ruben Fairchild wants to know who Tina Louise is.
Look it up. All right, look, let's get out of
Uh,
here. All right, so back tomorrow night.
yes, it's Thursday night tomorrow night, isn't it?
Yes, it is Thursday night, but we're not here Friday and
I
Saturday. And
I posted something. I posted something on my Facebook page. I said a Thursday throwback today, and my sister had to point out to me. Said it's not Thursday yet. I said, oh, I thought it felt like a Thursday to me. So
oh, and bear in mind, by the way, I'll just mind it as well because I was thinking about this today. 4th of July weekend, we may take that whole weekend, that whole stretch and go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and take those 4 days off if there's no weather going on. So I'm just kind of throwing that
correct.
out there. All right. It may
Yes.
not come to be if there's a tropical system running around or if the weather is busy, we'll maneuver somehow. But that's the preliminary plan, folks. Okay, because we
Yeah.
could use
Yes.
a 4 day stretch. All right, thanks everybody for being here. Most appreciated, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern time. Nighty night.
Au reservoir. Bye bye.